3 broken ribs, dislocated shoulder, 4 broken toes right foot, 3 broken fingers right hand, hairline fracture left arm, not to mention the cuts and bruises. Christensen lay in his hospital bed. Bandages, casts, and stitches adorned his beaten body. It had been a week since he'd returned to Kingsmouth, stumbling his way through the front doors of Kingsmouth Police Department with a bag of guns from the Norwood Armory on his back. The bandages he had applied earlier were soaked through with blood, and his lifeless gaze met those in the receiving area. He could barely speak. The long drive, fatigue, and injury sustained left him only able to mutter enough words to loosely convey that Norwood was in danger. The next few days were a blur, his vision fading in and out as his bones were reset, his flesh sutured. He saw familiar faces between unsettling visions of the black stone he'd seen before. Christensen felt as if he was submerged in the depths. More visions. His heart quickened as he remembered the temple, the water rushing around him as the building filled with that cold death, and his vision faded. Had he died? No, it couldn't be. The man's eyes opened, tiredly scanning the room around him. Sterile. Kingsmouth General Hospital. He'd been visited by Coleman and Bill. Coleman brought a bottle of whiskey, though smuggle might have been a better word, as there was no liquor allowed on the premises. Bill brought a bouquet of flowers and information from the lab in regards to the stone necklace Christensen had brought in some time ago. The lab results were inconclusive, with no knowledge of the script engraved onto the stone surface. However, the artifact hunting community had grown interested in the item, as it was discovered to be a few thousand years old, at least. One of the oldest known items in Kingsmouth. Besides this, Bill informed Christensen that his suspicions were correct, and that the cord of the necklace was made of human hair. Already, analysts had begun combing through records to see who the hair belonged to. Though there hadn't been any results yet, there were so many different strands that it was only a matter of time until something came up. The two visited Christensen often, bringing more information on the Jekyll case that seemed to have gone completely cold, his disappearance being viewed as a suicide at sea. Though dismayed at the news, Christensen knew that he couldn't take any action, at least for the time being. Between visits from his companions, Christensen was met with detectives from both the Kingsmouth PD and, much to his surprise, the FBI. For anywhere between a few minutes to a few hours at a time, they questioned him, sometimes separately, sometimes together, either one always accompanied by a recording device and a notepad that they referenced and scribbled in at every word that left Christensen's mouth. After some further conversation with Bill, Christensen had come under investigation as well. Rumors around the township were that he had a part in the rise in missing persons cases, some going as far as to suggest that he'd been an accomplice in the murders. Ever since the Jekyll incident, it seemed that wherever Christensen went, death soon followed. From the docks at the harbor to the road leading north to the village of Norwood itself, it was the one constant that had been at all 3 locations. Christensen truly was a suspect under investigation by both the Kingsmouth Police Department as well as the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Rumorings and whisperings aside, many still believed that it was dubious that Christensen was behind the disappearances, but The coincidence of being at all three of the recent major crime scenes was something that couldn't be ignored. Guess it can't be helped. Can't blame the department for doing what it has to do. At least they haven't cuffed me to the bed or anything. And it's nice that I've got contact with the outside world through Bill and Coleman. Those guys. I'll need to treat them out for some beer and wings once I'm cleared to leave. Shame I can't settle into the whiskey. It'd do some hell on my liver with the pain meds they're giving me. And the, flowers. Weird that Bill brought those, but I take it he doesn't really do much gift giving. Still, a nice thought. What's really helpful though is that information Bill brought to me. Seems that a team was sent to Norwood after I stumbled into the PD. Several missing persons from the township, including officers and the commissioner. Norwood HQ was clean when they arrived, but not entirely. The manpower and effort that it would have taken to clean up that mess in the holding cells. Just how many of those psychos are there? Good thing that they couldn't patch the bullet holes and replace the cracked glass in time, or they would have all really thought that I was crazy. The rest of the township are still there. Most, if not all of them, have credible alibis, at least publicly. What's strange is that they mentioned most of them were at the bar, watching the Kingsmouth Crawdads baseball game. But when I got there, it was empty. Something's up with those folks. I'll have Cole look into it for now. 6 more weeks of this. Gonna go stir crazy in here with so many leads on the case opened up. At least Coleman will be checking in on the Jekyll case and investigating Norwood. Bill's taking the time out of his day and a bit of a risk, operating outside of his jurisdiction to check on the Kingsmouth auction house for anything fishy. Guess it's just a matter of waiting for now. Then, once I'm back on my feet, I'll join Bill in his investigation. Still don't know why that cultist had the card on him. But whatever the case is, I can't let that lead die like the rest. Somehow the auction house, it's connected. Wait. Jekyll. He was at the auction house not long before the incident at the docks. The cultist had that auction card on them. It's definitely something. Gotta tell him to hold off until I'm ready to join him. Glad to see you're moving again. Somewhat. What's the matter? Need to make a call. Sorry, but for now I've been advised that you're to remain in your room until you've been cleared. For the injuries? Sure, it hurts like hell. But the painkillers I've got in me are doing me well. That and making a phone call won't put too much strain on my... Sorry, sir. Out of the question. Please, stay in your room. Rest. From what I heard, you were pretty banged up. Aye, sir. Understood. Looks like no calls for me. Coleman, Bill, it's up to you two. But I'll join you both again soon. I promise.